We last left off at a tenuous moment for Iran. A new king has been elected, but the nation is still under siege by the Turanian army. It's been a grinding, devastating invasion that brought about the deaths of Iran's last king, several of its most celebrated champions, and thousands of soldiers. It has also cost Iran much of its own territory in the north, where the Turanian army encroached from. The city of Rey, present-day Tehran, along with much of the neighboring region, is where Prince Afrasiab of Turan has established his own throne as a base. The Iranian army has consolidated in the south, specifically from the region of Pars down. Its military foothold is still concentrated in Zabolestan, where Zal, the white-haired hero, is guiding the Iranian army. Zal had himself sought out a new king because he saw it as necessary to help the army in its mission, and he selected a man named Zaav, a descendant of King Feridun, to take up the mantle. Zaav was elected for his age, experience, and more importantly, wisdom. Having a new king has certainly worked to improve morale among the Iranian soldiers and people, but it has so far done nothing to change the calculus on the battlefield. The positions of the Turanian and Iranian sides are locked in a grinding stalemate that continues to drag on for 5 months without either conceding. For a quick recap as to what is motivating this war, it is simply a bitter rivalry between these two nations that has been baked in for over 4 generations, dating back to a time when the lands were originally divided between 3 brothers. One of the 2 elder brothers, Tur, murdered his younger brother, Iraj, from a deep-seated, chaotic, violent urge for power. From that moment, the land that Tur ruled became known as Turan, and the land Iraj was destined to rule remained as Iran. This nascent rivalry has hardened in Tur's bloodline to the point of total commitment to Iran's destruction by any means necessary. Afrasiab is himself a direct descendant of Tur, and even cited this rivalry as justification for killing King Zaav. So all of this is to say, there is no reason in sight for this conflict to end. Afrasiab is completely motivated to keep it going for as long as it takes and refuses to back down. This is what King Zaav inherits when he ascends the throne. Even the strongest of rulers can't overcome such a challenge with wisdom alone, so the initial part of Zaav's rule is rough, because resources are being depleted and morale continues to disintegrate. But here's where something happens in the Shahnameh that we've actually never seen before, and the timing is itself fascinating in my opinion. On top of the woes plaguing Iran on the battlefield, fate delivers a surprising blow to not just the Iranian army, but the Turanian army as well. A famine. Severe droughts dry up the water supply. Crops can't grow. The animals starve and soon can't be used as food either. Unsurprisingly, this compounds King Zaav's problems and worries as the people become increasingly desperate. The famine reaches critical levels, and both armies feel the pain. But strangely, the famine acts as a natural force that brings the two sides together in a shared suffering. The opposing soldiers start to see each other not as enemies fighting a territory war, but as allies in a human war against nature itself. They find common cause in righteousness. So in this new rock-bottom atmosphere, suddenly the playing field is leveled, and Afrasiab feels the pressure and sends a message to King Zaav to negotiate a truce. Seeing this opening, Zaav engages, and negotiations begin, presumably in Rey, where Afrasiab is, with a focus on drawing new geographic borders. The Iranians agreed to concede to Turan the lands on the northeastern side of the Ceyhun, known today as the Amudarya River, all the way to China. As part of the bargain, Zal also agrees to give up the nomadic tribes along the southeast to Turan. This becomes the official Iran-Turan border, and these become the terms that end the first Turanian invasion. With this now done, King Zaav sets off to his foothold in Pars, and Zal returns home to Zabolestan. The Iranian people cheer them both when they return, and all at once the sound of thunder echoes across Iran as rainfall pours down onto the nation, replenishing the rivers and the earth, restoring the crops, and making the land lush and abundant once again. For 5 bountiful years, the peace keeps and the people prosper. But just as quickly as King Zaav's reign began, so too does it end, when the old king passes away at the age of 86. Zaav, the man sought out by Zal to lead Iran to victory, and elected for his wisdom and sense of justice, fulfills his destiny and with fate's fortune leaves behind a glorious, albeit brief, legacy. Thus, once again, the Iranian throne becomes vacant, and soon the drums of war will sound again. As Ferdowsi himself puts it, the world will grow sick of justice and long to be within the lion's claws. But we're actually going to pause the epic here for a while, to let what we've experienced so far breathe. After a few episodes, we'll dive back in to see who succeeds King Zaav as Iran's next king, and find out together the answer to a question I bet you've been wondering for a while now. Where is Rostam? If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it or leave a review. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more Shahnameh Quest.